Yo, this is Orlando Presents, and you're listening to FiveTwenty Collective Podcast, where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage.
That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem.
FiveTwenty Collective, where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage.
Take a ride through my old town, old me, old Sean. Might need boats, cry oceans. Here float down my old child fear. So broke, no hope round here. Been trying to cope since like '01. Better slow down for your cosign. You might owe Sean.
What's up, and welcome to the November episode of the FiveTwenty Collective Podcast, right here on the Trackstars Podcasting Network. We are in the field. It is Nate Shelton. It is Eric Boston, and this is where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage. Nate, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. What's up with you? I can't believe it's already November. I mean, year has just flown by. It seems like every month goes by faster and faster.
Right? Yeah, 2019 has been big, man. A lot of stuff happening for us here at FiveTwenty Collective. One of those things, man, that recently happened. Want to give a big shout out to His Hop Radio. They have picked up the FiveTwenty Collective Podcast, guys. You can hear it right there every Wednesday at 8 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. So if you don't have it already, make sure you go onto your app store, download the His Hop Nation Radio app, and look for FiveTwenty Collective on there. And shortly, Nate, pretty cool thing, our 520 Radio hosted by DJ Barcode is going to be available on His Hop as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a great thing for us. If you haven't checked out 520 Radio, definitely do that. He's got some great stuff going on there. Some already picking up some traction with that. We've only been kicked that off for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, it was. We launched the 520 Radio during October, and yeah, man, DJ Barcode, he is doing a great job with that. If you guys want to make sure you get your music on there, or if you're looking for a place to advertise, or if you have a show of your own, a podcast of your own, he is definitely looking to add to what he has going on over there as far as programming, whether it's more music, more shows, whatever. So make sure you go to radio.520collective.com and submit what you have, guys. DJ Barcode, man, he is putting in work for you guys for sure. Nate, man, we got a couple people we need to give a shout out to for helping make this month's podcast come to be. The first one is Aaron Robinson. You guys might know him as AR. You need to check out his new single. It's called Sound the Alarm. It features battle rap star The Saga. He is based out of Atlanta, guys. AR has been dropping singles all throughout 2019, and he even won the producer segment of the Shoot Your Shot Challenge that was earlier this year. So make sure you go listen to Sound the Alarm wherever you stream your music. And then, Nate, we also got to give a big shout out to Sam P for sponsoring this month's podcast. His new single, Put Down the Mask, it was inspired by his wife's new book that's also called Put Down the Mask, Embrace the Real You. So stop hiding behind the common things in life as a way to find your identity and live the life that God designed for you through Christ. So Put Down the Mask, available on all digital streaming services, as well as the Renew Your Minds Records website. So big shout out to AR and Sam P for jumping on board and being sponsors this month. Nate, I think it's going to be a good show, man. We had a great interview this month. I know we've got a good song. What's been going on over the last month, man, that you want to hit on?
There has been a lot of stuff that I have been noticing, I've been taking notice of, especially the first thing. I mean, he's a legend in CHH. Definitely, he's been indie his whole career. King Thistle dropped a new EP this last October. Fantastic stuff. It's basically telling his story. I don't know if anybody knows, but he was shot, I think about a year ago, doing some mission work down in St. Louis like he does on the streets. Basically, God told him he needs to tell his story, so he wrote an EP retelling that story. It's super heavy, really powerful, definitely need to go check that out. It's definitely a recommendation you need to go listen to. Also, a friend of ours, J. Crumb, he dropped his second album, Vigilantes Volume 1. It's another it's a fantastic follow-up to his Villains album.
Man,
so, definitely something to check out.
Definitely, man. J. Crumb he is being a beast in 2019, man. It's just the music he is putting out is tough. Definitely love the new Vigilantes Part 1. Love the Villains album. He's had some killer singles that he's dropped, some killer features. Man, it's impressive what Jay has been doing this year so far.
Yeah, and apparently he's not taking any time off because later this month he's dropping a new single. So he is not letting 2019 go by without a bang. So
nice, man. And we got to give a shout out to Enoch Flow Records, man. They keep on dropping music on a regular basis, and they did some cool stuff over the past month. I mean, you have the single Harlot from YJO. YJO, he's kind of the in-house producer over there for Enoch Flow, for whatever the guys on the team need, but he's been kind of moving out from behind the board, so to speak, to in front of the mic a lot this year. Excuse me. And that new song Harlot, man, that's a tough song, man. I really enjoyed it. What did you get a chance to listen to that, Nate?
I did listen a little bit. It's good stuff. He also had the EP earlier out this summer too, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah. The summer,
he's definitely
Summer in Mississippi.
Yes, that was a good one as well. So yeah, definitely nice to see him. Taking some a new avenue on the music side and putting music of his own out there. So YJO's definitely somebody you want to take notice of here coming up in the near future.
Right. And Enoch Flow also, they're partnered up with Jay Fish, who just dropped a single, Big Moves, that is off of his upcoming album as well. What did you think of that new single from Jay Fish?
It's a good single. It was, he's definitely perfected his sound. He's getting, it's really coming into his own, especially working with Enoch Flow. It seems to be a good partnership right now.
Definitely. So shout out to Enoch Flow, shout out to J. Crumb, Thistle, all them guys that have been dropping music over the past month. And man, just kind of talking with some of the different people that we interact with on a regular basis, Nate, I think there's a lot of really good CHH still to come before the end of the year.
Oh yeah, there's some people... some guys out there that have probably saved some of their best stuff for the end of the year, so you definitely don't want to be, definitely need to be paying attention here in the last month.
For sure, man. The one of the guys that I think has been really fun to watch over 2019 since we got FiveTwenty off the ground. He's got. He's definitely knows his lane. He's got a unique sound, and that's the guy that we are going to be listening to this month on the podcast, man. I'm excited about this one. Why don't you tell us, who are we listening to? What's the name of the song? And I want to just get into it, Nate.
It is Anthony Hale. He is from Tacoma, Washington. He's been doing music since he's 16, and this single that he is dropping... This has not been released yet. Heaven Can Wait. So it's really been interesting since we started FiveTwenty that the more artists that I've been noticing out here in the Pacific Northwest, we got Anthony Hale and then Just Joseph as well. And also Raw B, he's up in Vancouver. So quite a few guys up here that are trying to make a name for themselves in CHH.
Yeah, they're out there in your neck of the woods, Nate.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to know. I'm not out here with no music around me out here.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's definitely, you get these pockets, right, of CHH. Obviously Atlanta is a big one. A lot of stuff is going on in like Carolina. You got several artists in Arizona, and now we might be developing this new pocket up there in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, it's definitely needed up here. I know there are definitely fans up here that would probably gravitate to it if we could get more artists out in this neck of the woods.
For sure. Well, Nate, how about you? We just jump on into the song, man. What do you say?
That sounds good to me.
All right, guys. So let's take a listen to this track from Anthony Hale. It is called "Heaven Can Wait."
Fighting myself stuck in my head, crazy. Wifey said she wanna have my baby. Writing songs about a guy who saved me. Trying to understand why he made me. Got through brain cancer, then got stabbed. Trees in the forest, all part of his plan. Try to see the future, but it's just too blurry. Eyes so scurry, please hurry. Being content's getting harder. Sometimes wish God turned me into a martyr. Knife in my neck, gone a little farther. I be up in heaven, chilling with the Father. Asking him about all the mysteries in history. And porcupines, what's with porcupines? Hey Daniel, how scared was you of that lion? But I couldn't just leave my people down here crying. I guess heaven could wait. Somehow I'm still breathing. God's still great. I guess heaven could wait. I guess heaven could wait. I guess heaven could wait. Somehow I'm still breathing. God's still great. I guess heaven could wait. I guess heaven could wait. Somehow I'm still breathing. God's still great. I guess heaven could wait. Do it part-time and it's fine, I mean it. God called me to it full-time, I believe him. This life is yours as long as I'm breathing. And after that too, on the day that I'm leaving, I'm throwing seeds, but what they heathen. Texting my dad about grieving. Losing my grandma, keep me up at night. Seems like everything and nothing's right. I know that's confusing, but it's where I'm at. Look in the mirror, that man staring back. Can't see his baggage, but I carry that. Jesus still love him, and that is a fact. Matter of fact, just got onto this ride. Anxiety saying there's not enough time. Then I see his hands, and I see his side. And know that I'ma be alright. I guess heaven could wait. Somehow I'm still breathing. God's still great. I guess heaven could wait. I guess heaven could wait. Somehow I'm still breathing. God's still great. I guess heaven could wait.
It's time for the FiveTwenty podcast song breakdown, sponsored by
Show Me Christ Records.
All right, that was "Heaven Can Wait" by Anthony Hale. This song breakdown is brought to you by Show Me Christ Records. Guys, Show Me Christ, they are partnering with Daddy's Time Christian Entertainment. They're going to be rolling out a summer 2020 tour. So be on the lookout for details on that as it drops. The tour is going to feature Show Me Christ artists such as Jude, Messenger, Mark Ant, Little Thee, Broken Vessel, and more. So to get all the latest info on the summer tour, make sure you follow Show Me Christ on IG and hit up the Show Me Christ Records website. That is showmechristrecords.com, and get on their VIP list. That way you get all the info as it comes out on the tour. Find out when they're going to hit your city so you can make sure to plan to be in attendance for that. Nate, I'm sure this is going to be a really solid tour coming up this summer.
Yeah, it's definitely a tour you're not going to want to miss. So if it's in your neck of the woods, definitely go get out there and check it out.
For sure. Well, Nate, we just listened to "Heaven Can Wait" by Anthony Hale. Why don't you tell me what you think of it?
I thought it was a very well produced track. I love the message on it. Basically, you know what? We're all looking for that final resting place up in heaven, but until then, we got work to do down here. I just love the all-around sound and the feel of it. You can definitely tell Anthony has been doing music for a while and has perfected what he wants to do with it. So I thought it was a really overall really well done track.
Yeah, man, I'm going to agree with you. So the thing that I like about Anthony Hale is this. He's got this ability to make these songs, right, that are, they just, for lack of a better word, they feel light, right? They have this kind of airiness about them, almost fun, but yet in the midst of that, he's tackling some kind of deep topics, right? I mean, even when we're looking here at Heaven Can Wait, you've got, just this kind of welcoming vibe, but then when you listen to what he's talking about, it's like, man, it's stuff that I think we all feel at times, right? Where it's like, geez, man, stuff is hard. God, I'm ready to just come home, like come back,
Yes.
and in the midst of those thoughts, he's like, well, I've been blessed with these people in my life, these opportunities. And while heaven's really where I want to be, maybe I need to be okay with my current situation, right? Like I need to be able to just say, hey, as much as I want to be there, and it's hard to really wrap your head around saying, man, heaven can wait, but I get where he was coming from on this one, Nate.
Right. It's basically reminding us as Christians that we have a purpose here while we're here until we get to heaven. So not just, excuse me, sitting and twiddling our thumbs waiting for Jesus to come back, but he's giving us something to do while we're here. So definitely a great message throughout the song.
Right. And I love just Anthony's delivery as well. He's got that, I don't know, to me it just seems very Pacific Northwest, right? It reminds me of like, it feels like, man, he could jump on a track with Beautiful Eulogy or have Braille on there and it would fit right in. They would mesh really, really well. Is that the sound of up where you guys are at or what, man?
I guess so. I mean, recently, Crumb from Deep Space Five released an album he produced out here with Theory Has It. And I guess that's the sound of the Pacific Northwest. So it's real catchy like you're talking about. So it's a nice sound to listen to.
Right. I mean, I like the flow, man. I like, the way he kind of breaks up his patterns and punches in on certain stuff. Not like saying punching in during the record, but like he's very deliberate about where he makes those punches just in the way he's delivering, period. Right.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's super cool. I think it's a style that not everyone is capable of doing, even though maybe on the surface level it sounds like, oh well, it can't be that hard, right? But I think if you sit there and try to create that kind of flow, it is not an easy one to do.
No, it's probably a lot harder than he's making it seem. So that probably comes with doing music for 15 years. So
right, exactly.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen overnight.
Right. Well, I definitely enjoyed this track, man. One thing we always see is, and I think, it's become such a part of, CHH and just music in general is, okay, is this going to be good enough to hit those playlists? What do you think, Nate? Is Heaven Can Wait, Anthony Hale, one that you would expect to see on the Sauce playlist?
I definitely think I would definitely give it some strong consideration. As now, I'm probably on the fence, but as I listen to it more, I could probably see it getting on the Sauce.
Okay. Well, so it sounds like there maybe is a little bit of hesitation there, Nate. Like, what would be just something from the track that would maybe hold that back a little bit? Like, did you see some areas that, Anthony would be able to maybe improve the track a little?
Overall, it was solid, so I can't think of anything off the top of my head that could be instantly improved, because it was from top to bottom, I feel like it was a pretty solid track overall. I just think some more, just listening to it some more, getting the feel for it more in my head, I think I would probably end up putting it on the Sauce.
Gotcha. Well, can I be a little greedy and say that I wish there was a little bit more to it, like as far as like just length. I mean, you have a song, and I know it's kind of becoming commonplace, but you know, a song that comes in a little over 2 minutes. I was vibing with it, man. I was like, man, I want some more.
I did find myself do that the first listen. That ended, and I'm like, well, that's all. I figured there'd be more. So I definitely. Like you said, it's the trend now with music is, you know, about 2.5 minutes track length. I would have liked a little bit more on that, but definitely understand the thinking behind that.
For sure. Well, man, I will say this. I think that Anthony Hale is an artist that we've seen some nice growth from during 2019. I'm really excited to see what he is going to do, as you know, if he's going to ride that momentum as we head into this next year, and just really be wanting to pay close attention to what he's doing as an artist.
Right, definitely. I knew who Anthony Hale. I mean, I've known the name. I know that I believe he has opened for No Big Deal before recently. I think it's where I first heard the name. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what the next year has for him. I am definitely going to be listening more for his music, so
right.
I'm excited to see where he's going.
For sure. Yeah, big shout out to Anthony. You know, he's in our FiveTwenty group me chat with us. And guys, if you want to get plugged into the group me chat, you can go to FiveTwentyCollective.com. Click on Group Me right there in the menu bar and get all the info on how to get plugged in to that little community that we have in place to be speaking with people on a daily basis. It's fun. So we would love to see you guys in there as well. Nate, man, another thing I wanted to give a shout out before we hit this industry insider interview this month is that, guys, we have some cool stuff in place that we would love your support on, and here they are, Nate. One, I would love for people to go to the website and drop your email right there in the follow bar. That will get it to where whenever we drop new content on the site, you'll get notified right into your email inbox, and you'll be up to date on the latest content on FiveTwentyCollective.com. That'd be a great thing for us, man. We're trying to build this thing, trying to grow, and just get as many people aware of what's going on in the indie CHH world as we can. So helping us spread that, we are very, very appreciative. And Nate, the other thing that people could do for us is hit up Anchor. So guys, we kind of use Anchor to help get the podcast out to where all of you guys can hear what we have going on each month. And Anchor's got some pretty cool stuff available. And one thing is they have where you can leave voicemail messages for us, which is pretty awesome. So if you guys go on there, leave a voicemail, we can listen to what you have to say, listen to your feedback, put that into the show, and who knows, maybe even feature your voicemail right here on the 520 Collective podcast. Nate, I know I would love to start getting some of our listeners involved because we got some people that rock with us each and every month. What do you think, man? Should people be calling in and telling us what's up?
Definitely. I mean, that could make for some interesting podcast episodes. So, yeah, definitely leave a voicemail. I mean, good, bad. We want to hear it. So.
Right. Yeah, man. And then once again, shout out to DJ Barcode launching 520 Radio. Guys, if you're looking for I can't say the best, Nate, because I'm just not big-headed like that. But I can tell you what we have is a very, very good online radio station that features, you know, a lot of our favorites within Indie CHH, as well as great shows like the Track Stars podcast, Solomon's Porch podcast, Mario Esco Live. I mean, we've got people that are jumping on board. So if you've been sitting around saying, man, I am looking for a great radio station that I can tune into and get some quality, independent Christian hip hop, you can look no further than 520 Radio. address to tune in for that is radio.520collective.com. Nate, man, I mean, I can't say enough about what DJ Barcode is doing and what he's putting together. You got DJ LG
really awesome.
up with the Sunday night mix shows. Just a lot of cool stuff that he's been putting in place. How are you feeling the radio station?
I am really excited about it. I mean, if you're an artist out there, DJ, if, like you said, if you're a pro, got a podcast of your own, definitely submit your stuff to him. He's even looking for more DJ mixes. So that's definitely, if you got something, submit it to him. If he can take a look at it. If he decides that's good for the radio, he's going to put it on there. So get it in.
Right. Man, Nate, I'm excited for this interview this month. Able to sit down with a guy who, while he's making some big moves, he really cares about independent artists as well, even though his own son is one of the biggest players in CHH, man.
Just the new artist of the year this year at the Dove Awards.
Right. And, if you guys paid attention to those awards, you'll know that we are talking about Aaron Cole. Was able to hop on the phone and talk with his dad, Kelly Cole, this month. It was a great interview, Nate. There was so much knowledge. I mean, I think we could have kept talking for quite a while, and I was happy to just sit back and listen, to be honest with you.
Right. I've heard a few interviews with him before, and he is full of information.
Definitely. So we were excited to have him on this month's podcast. Definitely suggest that you keep on listening right here on the 520 Collective podcast. Nate, before we jump over to the interview, man, you know what we do every month. Where can people hit you up, follow what you got going? Just keep tabs on you, man, because I know that, man, someone needs to be paying attention to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes my own kids don't pay attention to what I'm doing. So, I am mostly on Twitter at IamNate_dog. Go there. It's where I keep up with all the CHH stuff going around. Definitely trying to keep everybody in the loop on social media. So follow me there.
Awesome, guys. And you can follow me on Twitter as well. It is at EricBoston3. That is at EricBoston and the number 3. Shoot me a DM. I'm sure I can speak for Nate on this as well. We would love to just interact with you, connect with you, get your feedback on what you're loving about what is happening here at 520 Collective, what you'd like to see us pursue in the future. We're always looking for those opportunities. And then make sure you follow the accounts for 520 as well. It is at 520CHH across the board. That is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Check out the YouTube. We've been putting new videos up from different indie artists. Shout out to BRM. He sent us in a couple videos that we got up on there now, man. Just a lot of cool stuff that's happening. And, before we get out, Nate, I do got to give a shout out to Marcus Anthony and the team at Blessed on Purpose. They are currently on tour this fall. The My God is Bigger tour. It features The Church, which is his group of Miracle, Brother Dre. I know DJ Kid Easy had to kind of bow out, had some family obligations come up, but the cool thing is he picked up our guy Avila to join them on the tour. So they are nice. They have a lot of cities already in place, and they're looking to add more. So if they are close to you guys, you need to go check out the My God is Bigger tour, because it's going to be a great show, Nate.
Yeah, those are some great guys. They've been doing this for a long time, so it is definitely going to be a show you'd want to go see.
Certainly. Man, Nate, anything else that you want to mention before we hop over to this interview?
I think we pretty well covered it today.
Awesome. Well, man, as always, it's great being on the podcast with you, bro. And shout out again to our main sponsors this month. That is AR and Sam P. Man, doing their things. Make sure you guys go out and support them. Show their music love. I know that they will appreciate it. And then stay tuned in here for this month's Industry Insider interview with Mr. Kelly Cole. Hey guys, what's up? This is Eric with 520 Collective and the 520 Collective podcast. I want to talk to you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way possible to make a podcast. Let me break it down for you. 1, it's free. That's right, no cost to use Anchor. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. So if you want to get on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and many, many more, then it's really, really easy, guys. You just set up an Anchor account at anchor.fm. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Again, make money, no minimum listeners. You're not going to find that anywhere else. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it's all in one place. So go right now and download the free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And make sure you let them know you heard it on FiveTwenty Collective Podcast.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy TC. You're listening to FiveTwenty Collective Podcast, where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage. Yeah.
Welcome to this month's Industry Insider interview, brought to you officially by
Bookkeeper247.com.
We want to give a big shout out to the Bookkeeper 24/7, our official Industry Insider interview sponsor. Guys, if you are looking for a place to get plugged in within the CHH community, you can hit up the bookkeeper247.com right now. They are currently looking for a submissions intern. So if you want to hear some of the latest in CHH on a regular basis and be able to get that put out on a great platform within our space, you need to join the team over at the bookkeeper247.com right now. Joining me on the Trackstars Podcasting Network phone line here for this month's Industry Insider interview. Man, we're excited to have this guy on the podcast with us. If you've watched Trackstars or just paid attention to what's going on within CHH in general, I know you know this man. We are very, very excited to have him on here. Please help me welcome Mr. Kelly Cole to the FiveTwenty Collective Podcast. How you doing, sir?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you were able to make it on. I know you're probably in the middle of pretty busy time right now with Aaron's new album coming out, and just I know you have a lot on your plate as well. How's stuff going on your end?
Oh, everything is great, man. Like you said, the new album came out. It's doing very, very well. Touring a lot, doing a lot of dates. We actually head to, I think we got Mississippi tomorrow, and then we go from Mississippi to Minnesota. So, yeah, man, busy times, promoting the album, doing shows and stuff like that. And as far as my personal stuff, running my publishing company and also managing my daughter. So it's a full-time family thing here.
Definitely. Well, it's awesome, man. I know we were kind of talking here before we got rolling about seeing you guys jump on the Trackstars show and just hearing the knowledge you brought there. I know you've been putting out kind of like some, I don't know how you specifically describe it, but it's kind of like educational content for artists, right, that you've been doing.
Yeah, so I created a product called Access Granted, for indie artists, because as you know, like my inbox stays flooded with, guys who either want me to manage them or they just got different questions about, how to advance their career. So the reason for the name Access Granted is I gave indie artists access to my circle. So what I did was I took their questions and asked all of my friends in the industry, including the president of Goatee Records, Joey Elwood. I asked Joey, I interviewed Joey. I interviewed our booking agent at TAA, Tony. That's what I created a product called Access Granted, and just took all of those questions and asked them to the industry experts and my friends.
Okay, awesome. So if I'm a independent artist, specifically within the CHH space, why do I want to look at, getting into that Access Granted material? What's it going to do for me as an artist?
Well, number one, I guarantee you just from one of the interviews, it's going to advance your career. Because most of the questions that I get, because they see that I manage Aaron, A lot of artists, like I said, want me to manage them. And I interviewed a manager that most people don't know. His name is Jay King. But Jay King is one of the original Christian hip hop managers. He managed Grits. So he started out with Grits. And right now he manages Toby Nwigwe and Propaganda. So, but I sat down with him and we spent over an hour. We talked about how to build a career. We talked about, what artists should look for in a manager. And we also broke down one simple fact that most artists don't think about. If you're an indie artist and you're just getting started and you don't have much going on, you don't need a manager. You really don't want me to manage you. You want me to work for you and build your career. And I oftentimes tell them, you can't afford to hire me to work for you. You don't need a manager because you don't have anything to manage. A real manager really just manages your career. So keeps your schedule intact. They answer the calls. They do different things like that. They help you plan, but they don't, quote unquote, technically build a career. And people get it twisted because of Aaron. Now, Aaron's my son. So I did a lot of work for Aaron for free and a lot of investment as far as financial and time because that was my son and I wanted to help his dream come true. But managers manage. You need to have something to manage in order to get a manager. And most of the time, a manager will approach you. You'll make enough noise to where a manager will approach you because they see something in you and they see you got stuff going on. But you don't need a manager until you have something to manage.
Definitely. I feel like we see that a lot within CHH, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like there's a lot of guys who, maybe they throw out a song or an EP, it's a small amount of work, and it gets a little buzz, and they're like, okay, I'm good to go, let's roll. And it's like, nah, there's a lot more that you've got to put into this to be successful, and obviously I think you guys can attest to that. Because basically with Aaron, you guys kind of started from the ground up, right?
For sure, yeah. Aaron's actually, most people don't realize this, but Aaron's first album came out when he was 4 years old. Literally. So he's 20 now. So you do the math. That's 16 years. 16 years, and it took 14 years before we got a call from Toby Mac. And we had a connection with Toby for the whole time. So me and Toby had a mutual friend who actually was a substitute teacher at my high school. His name is Chris Crockett. And when Aaron started doing Christian hip hop, every time Aaron would come out with a record, we would tell him, I would give him one, not even asking him to give it to Toby. I would just give him one. He said, hey, I'm going to give this to Toby. This is good. But he never did. So 14 years went by. Aaron was about 15 years old. And we were just getting ready to go on a tour that I created. And Aaron came out with a new CD. And we just bumped into him, and I gave him one. I was like, hey, man, here's the CD, man. We get ready to go on tour. And he was like, man, I'm going to give this to Toby. And we was like, man, you've been saying that for 14 years. But it doesn't matter, man. We're just working. And the very next day, Toby gets in his car, and he actually has it in the player. And Toby says, who is that? And he said, that's one of my friends. That's his son. And Toby called us on the spot. So it took 14 years to get that call from Toby, and I had the connection the whole time.
Wow. So what did you guys learn just through that process? What's some of the things that really stood out for you that you feel like, hey, this is stuff that any artist can apply, that we learned through this journey of, doing it on our own to eventually it turning into Goatee Records?
Yeah, so what we learned is it's all about reps. So meaning, we use a lot of basketball analogies. So it's the same thing as, Kobe shooting 100 jump shots before he goes to bed at night. So for what we learned is get out there and just do the work. So do as many shows as you can, for free. We did every local back to school bash, every church bash. We did everything we could do for free just to get Aaron the reps, just to get the experience, just to get the exposure. And then we just worked. We just put our head down and we just worked. The goal was never really to get a record deal. It never was. Our goal, I got saved at a Christian hip hop concert. So my goal was to introduce kids to the gospel through Christian hip hop. So that was always my goal and always my mission. And when after I got saved at that concert, I came home and I built a studio in my house, and I was actually recording my brother. And Aaron, being 3 and 4 years old, I would just have him with me. And I looked over one day, he was rapping. So I was like, man, he got something. And so I wrote his first rhyme, and Aaron started going from then. But the key, going back to your question, what we learned was just do the work. Like, put your head down, do the work, and let God open the doors, work on your craft. When Aaron, right around 7th grade, Aaron came home, he said, Dad, this is what I want to do with my life. And I said, okay. I said, first thing you got to realize is that you can no longer do what everybody else do. Your life is now going to be a sacrifice if this is really what you want to do. So I would have him come home from school, and I would say, hey, do your homework, do your chores, and then write me a song. I made him write me a song every day, and he hated it. But now you ask him, that was one of the best exercises I had him doing. I had him beating on his craft every day. Now he can write 2-3 songs a day. No problem. Like, it blows people away of how hard he actually worked and how fast he can actually write a song because, I put him through just doing the work. And one of the other things people started to compliment Aaron on is his stage presence. And I was like, they said, how did Aaron's stage presence get so good? He's 15. I said, that's because he was doing shows since he was 4 years old. Like, I even had Aaron performing at nursing homes. Like, anywhere I could put him up and have him ministering the gospel through Christian, I put him up and got him the rep. So he's able to, minister to any crowd, no matter what the crowd is doing, he's able to give his all. So do the work, as far as do the shows, do the reps, write every day, and just put in the work. You know what I'm saying? It's just put in the work. Don't be Hollywood. We slept on many floors. We slept on, we used to sleep in Roach Motel, Super 8, you name it. We've done it. Like, but nothing was beneath us, and there was no show that we wouldn't do or we wouldn't take. Half the time, we wouldn't even get paid. I would pay out of my pocket to drive and travel to a show, and we would get, one church put us up. I think it was a church in Atlanta. They stuck us in their youth room. They didn't give us any blankets, no sleeping bags, no pillows. They put us in a room to sleep in a room, and they had the air conditioner on 30.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man, that's dedication.
And we done it. We didn't complain. We done the work, man. So that's the biggest thing. Like, do the work and don't think that one person, one feature, or one connection, or one, person could change your life, because it's not even about that. It's about doing the work and letting God open the door. And here's a huge tip. Like, if we're considering Christian hip hop to be a ministry and something we do for God, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling maxed out, it's not about God. You're making it about you, because God says his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So if you're carrying something else, it's not about God. If you're stressed out, it's not about God. And you may not be called to, be national or to do this full time, but be okay with that. Be okay with reaching the kids that's in your community, because they need somebody too. They need somebody too. So I hope I answered the question.
Oh, definitely. I'm just listening, man. I love it. Again, guys, join me on the Track Stars Podcasting Network phone line is Mr. Kelly Cole, dropping just great information for us, guys. Definitely excited that he is here. So one thing that you kept repeating there is just put in the work, and you guys have done that for 16 years. So I'm sure that over that time you've seen Christian hip hop, evolve quite a bit. Like, what have you noticed? How is it compared to when you guys were starting out to now? Like, are you seeing some changes for the good, for the better, for the worse? I mean, what are you seeing?
Like I said, when I got involved, it was called gospel rap. So there was actually the gospel in the music, and it actually, brought me to Christ, So I think, I wish there was more Christ in Christian hip hop. That's me, honesty. That's me being honest. And people may call me old school or what. I just wish there was more Christ in Christian hip hop. I remember the guys who I got saved at their concert. Their name was Ricky B and Forgiven. And
oh yeah, I remember Ricky B.
Yep, I remember. They came to my area and they did the altar call. I gave my life to the Lord and I bought their CD. And, you know, the gospel was in their music. And every time they said a scripture, I paused the music. I went to my Bible. I looked it up. So it was actually gospel in the rap. So yeah, so it has, you know, I wish it was more gospel, but it has evolved and become more mainstream, which I don't know who that's good for, depending on the message, you know. So are we because of the platform bigger, are we reaching more people for Christ, or is it more about, are we, you know, leading more people to ourselves? You know, are we getting fed off the gospel and leaving Christ out of it, or, you know, is it about him? So that's what you have to question. Like a lot of, and here's where I shut down a lot of guys who actually get on the phone with me. And so I say, hey man, what do you want to do? What's your goal? And most of them, you know, give me this political answer and say, I just want to reach more people for the gospel. And I feel like, you know, if I got a record deal, I was like, no, that's not true. I said, if you want to reach people for the gospel, give your music away for free and go out there and minister the gospel. You don't need a bigger platform for that. God can give you a platform if you just want to give people, you want to reach people with the music and reach them with the gospel. But what they see is they think it's a bunch of glitz and glamour. There's a lot of trials and tribulations that comes with performing in arenas, like going on these arena tours with Toby and all that stuff. There's a lot more work that goes into that, and it's a lot more spiritual warfare. Like if you've been to one of Aaron's shows lately, it's a burden. It's a huge mantle to carry, to be, you know, he's 20 now, to carry this mantle and, you know, have, you know, these young kids looking up to him and they think it's all glitz and glamour, but it's a lot. Like the word says, to much is given, much is required. You know, there's a huge requirement to carry, you know, the mantle of the gospel. So, but yeah, last tip, I want to give this tip though. I hope I answered that question, but it just keeps coming to my heart. Most people want to get a record deal, and I want to break that down. A record label provides two things. They provide money and they provide relationships. So money to invest in your, you know, to your recordings, your marketing and stuff like that, and relationships to put you in position to, you know, either get shows or to, you know, get on certain platforms. But if you could take your time, trust God, and, you know, have God, you know, give you the resources, you don't need a record label to do it. You really don't, especially if your heart is just to you know, put out the gospel. So check your heart if the goal is just to get a record deal so you can shine or so people can scream your name, because that's not what it's about.
Definitely. And I think just listening to you, like one thing I would feel safe saying is that, you know, even if Goatee had not come along to this point, that you guys would still be out here putting in that work and really just pushing that gospel forward. I mean, am I wrong?
For sure. Like we were not going to stop. We were not going to stop. Like I said, that was never the goal. Now, I do want to say this about Goatee. We have a wonderful family at Goatee. Like Toby is one of the realest guys that we have ever met that does this. Toby is the same person on stage as he is off stage, and the whole Goatee staff. It is such a family of loving people who love God and really live this thing. So I don't think we could have been with a better, you know, label, a better group of people who really cares about, you know, Aaron, who cares about his soul and cares about his walk with the Lord. So we're grateful for that. So I don't want to get that misconstrued, but we're grateful for Goatee. They're wonderful people.
That's what's up. So, man, you threw out Ricky Being Forgiven. That's some names I hadn't heard in a minute, man. I remember I saw Ricky Being Forgiven at Cornerstone Music Festival, like in 2002, I believe, right around in there. It was like them, KJ52, Deep Space 5, a lot of them guys. And, you know, the one thing that I think, you know, I've noticed, and I've had conversations with like DJ Jeremiah about this, is like, man, it's hard for artists, it seems like, within gospel rap or Christian hip hop, whatever you want to call it, to have that longevity in place. I mean, I have a hard time believing, like, when we look at Aaron as an example, like, man, you can see it. I mean, I think you see that he's going to be here for quite a while doing this, right? I mean, what do you attribute that to? Do you feel like we're getting... Is it that the talent is catching up now, or I mean, what is it that sets that apart? What makes it hard to have that longevity in this genre?
I think it's just a gift and a calling. You know, if you notice anything about, you know, the Word of God, there's different seasons. You know, some people are called to last longer. His careers are called to last long. I think Aaron has a call to reach, you know, generations after generations. I think he's going to be here a while because that's his calling. Not saying that those other guys, you know, wasn't their calling, but maybe their season had passed and it was time for them to pass the mantle, you know? So I think it has a lot to do with Aaron's gift and his calling. The reason why he's going to be here for a while. And, you know, you can't take away from, you know, his God-given gifts and talent, too, because Aaron is really, you know, I'm not saying it's just because my son. Aaron is, like I said, I looked over at 3 years old and I saw him rapping and knew there was something special about him. You know, so I can't, you know, take credit for that, but I looked over, he was 3 years old and he was rapping. So yeah, I think it's his calling. I think it's his gift. I think it's what God has called him to.
Yeah. And so one thing that I think is really cool is that, I mean, you know, I think it'd be easy to be in a position where you guys are, where you're with, you know, a major label, where you guys could really just focus on those higher tier artists to maybe collaborate with, work with. But I feel like you guys are intentional about paying attention and pouring into those indie artists that are still trying to get where you are. What kind of drives you guys to, you know, kind of have that heart for those indie artists? I mean, I know you, like I said, you have your access granted that's set up for them. I mean, what's the kind of the driving force behind that?
Yeah, so I'll answer that in two ways. So far as how Aaron works with, you know, different indie artists and up-and-coming artists, Aaron likes to work with, you know, his friends. And he feels like, if he feels like you're dope, it doesn't matter what your name is. So Aaron, you know, will work with you as long as, you know, he feels like that, you know, your music is good and, you know, he vibes with you. You know, these young people, it's all about the vibe. So if your vibe is dope, Aaron will work with you. Me, I have a heart to help. You know, I just have a servant's heart. So like I said, a lot of the guys who, you know, are in my inbox, or even young ladies in my inbox who want me to manage them, and just have questions and genuinely want to know and want, you know, want help. I wanted to create that product, access granted, to give them access so they can, you know, get their questions answered. Like I said, from industry professionals, like a lot of them want to know how to tour and, you know, what it takes to tour, what it takes to build their career and all of that stuff. I remember the turning point in Aaron's career. And tell me if I'm going too long. I got a lot. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15. So the turning point in Aaron's career where we started doing things in excellence, we did a concert. I think Aaron was sixth grade, somewhere around sixth grade. We did an event in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this guy, I can't even remember his name, but I got to find this guy because I owe him a lot. We did a show. This guy, it was one of the other artists that was on the show. And he said, hey, let's trade CDs. And we traded CDs. His was, you know, professionally wrapped, shrink wrapped. It was very professional product. And, you know, ours was burnt on the computer. And, you know, we Xerox copied our cover and all of that stuff. Just, you know, just doing it. Not doing things in excellence, just doing it. And that was a Friday night. Sunday after church, I get a call and I was like, hey, what's going on? This is Kelly. And the guy said his name. He was like, yeah, man, I listened to Aaron's CD. And I was like, hey, what you think? Getting ready to think he's getting ready to praise us like everybody else does. He said, man, it was trash. He was like, it was garbage. And he was like, I'm not talking about what he's saying. I'm not talking about the production. I'm talking about the quality, and you're not doing this in excellence. He's like, we serve a guy where you should be representing him in excellence. I put this in there. This is not professional mix. This is not mastered. I almost blew my speakers out listening to this. And he basically just, you know, skinned my head for a good 30 minutes. Just went off on me on how I'm not representing Christ the way I should be representing him, especially with my son's ministry, and just let me have it. And then prayed one of the most thug DMX prayers I've ever heard in my life. and pray for me, if it's finances that I need. And he really, he ended up really ministering to me. And I took that rebuke, and from then on, we did things in excellence. So here's a tip for indie artists. Like, if it takes you saving your money and actually going to the studio, getting your stuff professionally mixed, mastered, and packaged, do that. Now people don't really buy physical CDs. We still sell them at shows. People buy CDs as souvenirs, if you don't know that. They don't buy them to play. They just buy it as something that the artist can find as a souvenir. But if you're putting your stuff out on iTunes, TuneCore, and all that stuff, make sure it's mixed and mastered. Put your best foot forward and take your time. Don't just be throwing stuff out there. So that was a huge lesson. And from then on, we went to the studio. We got everything mixed and mastered. We got everything professionally packaged. We went to a whole nother level from that, lashing that I picked from that young man. And I got to find him too. I got to find him and thank him for that.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I will say, I mean, I'm old, so I love my CDs, man. I still listen to them to and from work. That's what I do. But no, I get it. It's changing. It's changing. Well, hey, let me ask you this, because I know we want to be respectful of your time here. But are there any independent artists that are out there in CHH right now that's kind of have your attention, or that you're paying a little extra notice to right now?
Yeah, one I'm not going to mention because I don't want all the labels swarming them. But because I'm maybe interested in working with them and may scope them up. So I'm not going to mention them, but there's another cat this is my homie. His name is Kamo, and I love his sound. I love what he's doing right now. He's crushing the game. If you don't know him, he's from Atlanta, Georgia. And his Instagram is KMO _. Hold on, let me make sure I get that right. Oh, he changed it. So it's Kamo Shamal. So KMO SHAMAAL. Kamo Shamal. And he's dope. I love what he's doing. I love his sound. He's putting out some dope music right now as far as indie artists. That's the one that comes to mind off the top, besides the one that I'm not going to share.
Okay. Awesome. That works. So go check him out, guys. Make sure you do that for sure.
You follow my homeboy.
Definitely. So, hey, before we wrap it up, I mean, obviously, this is just, I feel like it's just kind of like maybe a fraction of the tip of the iceberg of what you got. So hopefully we can get you back on the podcast in the future and kind of, dig into it a little bit more. But, definitely people need to be following you and paying attention. How do they do that?
Yeah, so all of my social media, even my website, is Mr. Kelly Cole. So MrKelllyCole. And so we got a couple of minutes. Can I give something practical, like kind of how we built Aaron's career real quick? I'll make it quick. Is that okay? Okay. So one of the things we wanted to do when I started, wanting to get Aaron in different markets, what I did was, this is how we went on our first tour. I made a list of cities that I wanted to go to. And I created a tour route, and I think we did 14 cities. And this is what I did. I put next to each city, I put down, did I know somebody in that city? Did I have a family member? Did I have a friend or somebody in that city? And I contacted them and said, hey, I want to take Aaron on tour. Do you know a church, or do you think your church will let us come for free just for a love offering and maybe a hotel? And of course, majority of them say, yeah, my church will do it, or let me talk to my youth pastor. So in all of the cities where I didn't have anybody and I couldn't fill that hole, all I did was I went to Craigslist and I posted in the musician section, and I put Christian Youth Tour looking for a church to host a concert. And I put some information about Aaron and the tour and the YouTube link. And I said, reply to this ad if you want to book this date. We'll be there in your city on this day. And I put together a whole 14-city tour by doing that. Now, all love offerings too. So now, people might be thinking, okay, you booked all these shows, no money up front. How did you raise the money to go on tour? All I did was I got 25 people in my community to sell 20 tickets for me, and I did a tour launch concert. So I got 25 family and friends to sell 20 tickets for me and raise $5,000 to go onto the road. That took care of the gas. It took care of, hotels where we can get hotels. And then when we go to a church and they give us a love offering, we just put that in the pot. And at the end of the 14-city tour, at the end, that's when we split up the money. So that's a simple way that somebody can put on a tour.
Oh, wow.
And build their brand.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I give away in Access Granted. So inside Access Granted, you get that complete plan of how I did that. You get sponsorship packet. You get the whole planning on how to put together a kickoff tour. But I wanted to leave y'all with that, so I gave you some value. I felt like I was doing a bunch of preaching.
No, hey, we love it. We love it. And man, I actually know someone that is trying to work on booking a tour right now. So I'm definitely going to hit him up and be like, hey, you need to know this. So, yeah, man. Well, hey, we appreciate you jumping on the podcast with us. Again, guys, make sure you follow him on social media. He said it was at Mr. Kelly Cole. So, support, take in that knowledge, and man, are we able to reach back out to you and try to bring you back on at a later time as well?
For sure, man. Anytime. And if they send in some questions, I'll knock them down. I'll answer any question they get.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, guys, and we definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors this month. Of course, the Bookkeeper 24/7 for sponsoring the Industry Insider interview, and we will catch up with you guys next month.